he's going to be hard to beat for the Grom.
Absolutely. You know, you think John kind of, like he said in a few of his post-heat interviews, he just wants to surf. He just wants to ride waves, and I couldn't agree with him more. We just want to watch him surf, and I feel like if he does that, he is going to be really hard to beat because he owns this spot.
Well, let's have a look. Florence getting things started. Rich, take us through this one.
Oh, it just opens up with a savage gaff under the lip. John comes around this section again. Bit of a sleepy cutback, waiting patiently for this wave to stand up. Comes through to the inside, another little check snap, and then bang, hammer time off that final moment there, the closeout section. John just annihilates it. Taj, what do you reckon of these carbs,
like
man?
He hammered a 7.83 right there. So, yeah, great start. Probably pretty low five for John, but still, like, so rock solid. And, yeah, that's a great start to the heat.
Great start to the heat. There's so many interesting things happening here right now. TB, you surfed your last heat as a full-time campaigner on the CT in Fiji against John Florence, and it was an amazing exchange. He's still here doing his thing.
Yeah, absolutely. It was great to surf with John at any time, especially in amazing waves. He's quite hard to keep up with, and yeah, I've been a fan of him ever since, as we see George swinging in.
Well, let's see what the wildcard can do. Can he stay on pace with a two-time world champion? Nice swoop to get started. He's been super strong with his rail work on his road through to this part of the contest. But it's semi-final time. He's got to go big. Does well with a tricky end section there to stay on his feet. And let's get to the interview with Stace Galbraith, the winner of the last semi-final for the women.
So, yeah, here we go. We get another look at it. Cannot wait to see this turn. Oh, I love that.
Yeah, there was a collective audible across the entire surfing world, it felt like, as he ripped through that first turn. Carve of the contest, Rich?
Oh, without a doubt. That's the first one where John has really just stepped it up into fifth and maybe even sixth gear.
Here we go.
Takes off late, drives so hard off the bottom, and then watch this. It's engaged from here. Full throttle, all power, all acceleration. And he has the ability to just sit on that rail for so long. And the breakdown of that Ghost model from Pizel, that narrow tail, he can just lock it in for as long as he wants. And I just can't express it enough. The upper body and the lower body movement, the connection that John has, that swivel between the hips, it's just phenomenal.
I just love the relief of not having to compete. I just love being a spectator now. I'm such a huge fan of the sport, and I still watch everything. But, here we go.
Well, let's see what Florence can do here to get rid of that 7.83. All out on the first section.
Holy
and
hammer.
He's going to pull it back under his feet and add more down the line here. This wave's got another big wall standing up, and he just blows the tail right through it. And there is the scream. John Florence hasn't really had a whole lot to celebrate on his road through to this point in the competition, but he is starting to let the emotion out.
So far, John, it's a good-looking wave standing up for him. Throws everything in that section. Just, I don't even know what we call it. It was like a re-entry hack off the lip with a bit of layback thrown in there. Comes all the way through to the inside and just hammer time.
Big score. We allowed to guess them.
Yeah, go for it.
I'm going to go at 9.63.
I might be going bigger than that.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if we see the Nuggets drop here. It's perfect surfing to me. It had that radical element.
What do you got for us? What do you got for us, mate? Take it away.
It's 10 points. You guys, that's huge. Okay.
A perfect score for John Florence.
I couldn't fault it.
I mean, he took him on that second wave, and that carve is as good as it gets. But, you know, he can do that turn without risking the ride. A lot of people can't, but there he threw it all on the line on that first move. And the power displaced on that final section was some of the best we've seen.
It was just the perfect moment in that heat.
He's starting to really ignite here.
He just needs waves.
No one can tone down a fire too like Ross Williams. He's one of the coolest customers in the world. As we see now, George Pittar, for a moment there, wasn't in combination, but now he's got a big one to chase down. And this wave, you kind of already get the feeling it's going to be hard to take this into the 8-point range, just a little bit too much foam to deal with. Still beautifully
great
red.
surfing, but that's a tough act to follow. It was just so much power and precise surfing in that wave.
I want him to stick with it here. Hang into this heat and see what happens.
Look at these waves, by the way.
Absolutely pumping.
It is pumping. It's amazing to hear people come in from their heats and say, oh, the waves are so good. Even though we've had such a rough run this event.
Oh, all's forgiven and forgotten. This is all about final day.
So yeah,
Beautiful
really
turn to finish off. That was high risk as well.
But yeah, this right's turned into a pretty kind of big wave, high performance wave. As we see George swinging on a beautiful little clean insider.
Now George needs at least an 8.41 to break combination. He's in that situation, Rich, where he really does have to push harder than maybe he's ever pushed in his life to turn this around. Just absolutely dominating. He was throwing away a 7.83, which was better than anything George Pittar was able to serve up. But George getting one last opportunity to put on a show for the crowd here. Nice big swoop off the top, and the crowd really showing their appreciation for this youngster from Manly Beach.
Finish it.
Who's put on a fantastic show in this event, and likely that'll be his best wave. Great surfing, George, and all the best on the Challenger Series. And Florence making his move and looking very much in the zone. Focused on a big finish here and potentially a third championship tour victory at Margaret River. Look at those numbers. Incredible stuff.